Bitcoin could go as low as $9,000 to $10,000. All right, so I want to show you this. Now, by the way, does this guarantee it's going to go there? No, not at all. But it's one of the data points that as a smart investor, we need to take into account, right? We have to say, listen, there's a good chance that we could still go down there, and how do we react? How do we protect ourselves now, and what do we do? How do we have money on the sidelines to buy Bitcoin if it gets down to 10 or 9,000? Well, let's talk about these charts. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put in a parallel line. We're going to start it right down here, right? We're going to take the 2017, might not be able to see this, but the 2017 lows, connected through the 2019 lows, connected through the COVID lows, and we're going to put that line in. All right, so again, and let me just bring this back here. And again, I don't know if you can see down here, but we've basically connected it through all of these pivot points that make up the lows on Bitcoin going back to the pre-bull market of 2017. Now, let's just draw this up. Let's just bring this up a little bit here. All right, so one of the things I want to show you right now is that the first, just taking this parallel up, I want to go through this because this is pretty remarkable. So what we see here, if we just extend this up a little bit, we see a pivot point here, a pivot point here, a pivot point here, and the low is perfectly parallel. Perfectly parallel gave us this low. So the parallel line from the lows down here, all right, and again, I hope you guys can see this. If not, you can look at it on your own charts. And if we just drag that parallel up a tiny bit, we get the exact low from earlier in, late 2022. All right, now let's take it a step further because this stuff blows my mind. It really does. All right, next up, let's drag that parallel up a little further, okay? And what do we have right here? All right, we now have, check this out, we now go to the highs of 2017, and we get this high right here, which was your initial flush and bounce, and we get the lows here, and look, we're now trading just a hair below those lows right there, okay? So we now have multiple pivot points with just extending this. Now, again, if I could lock in lines along the way for you guys, I would, because I think it's just incredible, but we're going to take this even further, okay? Now, let's go back here and drag the parallel up even further. Now what we see here, which is even more nutty, is, look at this. Going up a little bit more, we see that essentially this low here in the bull market low of 2021 gives us this high and this high. Do you guys see how this one trend line that goes back to the lows of 2017 before the bull market, the lows of the bear market in 19, the lows of COVID, has now given us almost every pivotal point on Bitcoin since basically going back here. And that's only as far as we basically drew it up. All right, now, again, we could continue to go up and up and up. I just don't have a lot of time in this game plan to keep going on. But you guys get the point. And so my point, again, just to summarize, is that in this chart, if you have a parallel line here, 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 and they coexist with all of these points, all of them back here, etc., then in a worst case scenario, which is what I've been saying, why wouldn't it make sense for price to potentially fall to that level right there?